Let's take you to the feature match table. And you can see Niels on the right-hand side and Luca on the left-hand side.
Yes. Now, it's going to be a bit interesting for you guys to be able to see these cards, because in that Noble Knights deck, all of those cards are going to be platinum rare.
Oh my. So we're going to see a lot of shiny cards. And both guys are almost ready to start. Here is the first hand of a player, and Niels also goes first with a Pot of Duality. As you can see, he already flips 3 cards from the top of his deck. Looking for, I was about to say Deneb, but he already has a Deneb in his hand.
So he is already going to be able to see that, but he's not, he's stopping himself from special summoning this turn. Probably going to...
Not a big problem.
Not a massive problem. I think he's going to look at that Deneb and try and get a bit of a search.
Yep, most of the time Deneb is searching for Altair, which will later on be able to special summon Deneb back to the field once Deneb ends up in the graveyard.
Now he's actually played the...
Uno Halkai.
Okay.
Uno Kalhai, this way around.
Yes, he's putting the Altair into the graveyard, I believe that's Altair. Oh, it could be Vega. They're very...
Yeah, that's Vega. Yeah, they almost... they look slightly the same, but...
yeah, he's got the Deneb into there.
So this is Deneb. In case you're not familiar with it, it is the... What people always say, elemental hero status of this particular archetype. It's you summon it, no matter how you summon it, you get to search your deck for another Satellar Knight. All right. So as for Luca's hand on the other side, quite a few Noble Knights.
Does have the opening play for Noble Knights, which immediately means that he's going to be getting an Xe monster out.
Is Niels really reading over an Upstart Goblin? Probably because it's Italian.
It's possible.
Yeah. Oh, well, what does it say in Italian?
There's a reckless greed there. Now, the play for Noble Knights at this point, if he doesn't feel too intimidated, would be to generally play with Draught with the Excalibur to then go and get Boars. But of course, that's an Excalibur. Thinking about it, wouldn't re-equip. So he's using Dryston there. When Dryston is equipped with an equipped spell card, generally a Noble Arms, it can destroy one monster on the field. And you also can't target any of the monsters with 1800 or less attack.
Alright, so Niels is checking the effects again. This is something that you see happening quite a few times when somebody is bringing something to the table that is not one of the popular decks or most popular decks, asking about the effects again. And this is the right approach, people. Ask about what your opponent's cards are doing rather than misplaying.
Now, interesting combo there with Dryston and that Excalibur. Now, Excalibur says that this card cannot be targeted. So what you're doing there is you're essentially saying that Dryston is the only card that can be targeted, but it can't be targeted. And Satellar over Alpha. Yeah,
the catch-all card for the Satellar Knights, and one of the main reasons why this deck is still a real contender. Now you have to tribute a Tellar Knight. Often that will be a...
But you're going to negate, destroy a card, and then draw a card. So it's
a very fair trade.
Yeah. Now, the Dryston there was dimensional prisoned. Call the Haunted is happening, I believe, in the end phase there, just to stop anything stopping it.
Yeah. Even Luca put down a trap stun, most likely, and the Reckless Greed. No. And because I don't see a lot of point of placing the Soul Charge face down.
And Deneb there.
Deneb comes back and
gets a search. I believe that was an Altair that's gone to hand.
Yeah, nothing of that. So there we go. This was Niels' plan all along from the very first turn on. He's filling his graveyard with the Deneb so he can get it back.
Drawn into a second Deneb there. Like 3/4 of the army to get
Altair. Or he just searched for Altair. Yeah, he just searched for Vega. Yeah, there we go. So now he's got the whole party complete.
And he's just going for it.
Yeah. And what he doesn't know is that Luca doesn't really have a way of stopping his play, really. And I think Luca just gave it away with his gesture here. Shaking
just keep going.
Yeah.
Kind of gesture. I mean, he could have tried to bluff it out, but
maybe he knows that the Tellarknights, they don't really see a point of not attacking or not like putting together a strong field. And rather than going for an exceed summon prior to the battle phase, Niels figures there's nothing waiting for me here, so let's just deal as much damage as possible.
He's just making a bit of a poke.
Yep, and all 3 attacks connecting, which leaves Luca on, I think, like around 3,000 life points only, so he's falling behind and fast.
Oh, and all 3 are going down there. That should be bringing out...
This often is a Pala. Yeah, he does have, there's... The Tellarknights, of course, do have their very own Exceed monster that is more than capable of putting up a strong defense here.
Yes, it is huge.
And he goes for a Triver. It's a Stellar Knight Triver, not to be confused with a Satellar Knight. There we have it.
It's got a rather large defense there as well, with 2,500. Yeah.
And, well, the one restriction is you cannot special summon the turn you summon it, which is not a big deal, because you can still special summon Tellarknight monsters. And it returns, it bounces all other cards on the field to the hand. And once per turn, you can detach one material and send a random card from your opponent's hand to the graveyard. And if it ends up in the graveyard, you can bring back a Tellarknight. So all of this sounds very much like a lot of disruption here for Niels.
And unfortunately, Luca doesn't have much out to it.
Yeah, and Luca didn't activate the Reckless Greed here.
I was expecting that, but it just didn't happen.
Yeah, so he simply set both Reckless Greed and Trap Stun again. He did draw into a Solemn Warning, and he's got one more card in hand, and that was a Noble Knight Medraud.
Call the Haunted's happening in the end phase again.
And he could also set that monster. I'm somewhat... Oh, right. The effect, of course, of Triver was used, and it sent the Soul Charge to the graveyard. I almost missed that one. So, and with that activation, he does have a target for the Call of the Haunted again. And he just starts all over again with those Satellar Knight combos. Very, very consistent deck. Once you get this engine going one time, you can just go over and over and over with the same plays. It's a little bit like the new Gadget deck.
A little bit.
Although some would argue it's stronger than the Gadget deck.
Yes, because it's a Gadget deck that can run Honest.
Yeah, and also that can special summon monsters. And also that has monsters that have pretty decent attack values.
Yeah. He's moving both for I believe that's a Delta Ross that he's brought out.
Yep. So, oh no, it's an Heroic Champion Excalibur. So much...
something that you'll notice...
Such a shiny card.
It is kind of the bane of our existence watching this,
yeah.
is Ghost Rares.
So he can attack with 4,000, and that is indeed enough to force the concession in the first game. What a commanding win by Niels Vossen. Again, we have seen him on the stream before, and he was always playing very... he's very certain of his moves. He's very calm at the same time. I know that he talks to quite a few players online, so he's somewhat nervous. He's always afraid that if he messes up and all of his friends are watching the stream, he will have to explain himself after that. So here we see...
Just changing his sleeve there.
Yeah.
Now,
let's take a look at the side decks of both of these guys.
I mean, it's an Ice Hand and Fire Hand, which doesn't necessarily help out against Noble Knights because, well, Fire Hand generally isn't going to destroy anything that's got a Noble Arms of Destiny.
The Shadow Imprisoning Mirror, the card we talked about in the earlier feature matches, which is amazing against both Shadol and the Burning Abyss, doesn't do that much, or nothing, against the Noble Knights that Niels also has in his side deck. But then again, Niels is he's ahead anyway, so I think it's more interesting to look at Luca's cards in the side deck, with the big problem here that they're all in Italian.
There's a Neo-Spacian Grand Mob, which would be incredibly incredibly nasty to run into.
He's got a
anything, really.
non-fusion area, which is probably his solution to the Shadow archetype, and 2 copies of Max C.
Mystical Space Typhoon, which would have been helpful just to be able to get rid of that back row.
Yep. What do you think about Max C against the Tellarknights? It sounds like a really good card.
Yes.
It's going to draw 2 cards most of the time.
You're going to sit there and you're essentially saying,
bring back your Altair, bring back something, perform Exceed Summon. I'm getting to draw some cards, so that's fine with me.
Exactly.
What kind of defense does the Noble Knight deck have?
All of the Noble Arms. Literally all of the Noble Arms. You've got an Excalibur that means that you're not going to get targeted. Destiny means that you essentially have to destroy a card twice. Caliburn gives you 500 extra. 500 extra attack, and you can gain 500 life points. Also re-equips, as most of the Noble Arms, apart from Excalibur, does. Gallatin gives you plus 1,000 attack. Arfudita means you can minus 500 attack off of yourself, but destroy a set spell or trap card. So,
but all of these tricks are face-up cards that are going to be on the field, right? So your opponent knows what's coming. Do they run? Do they generally tend to run a lot of trap cards that can stop your opponent, like a Dimensional Prison or Bottomless Trap Hole, something like that?
A few. I mean, generally, you're looking Bottomless Trap Hole, Breakthrough Skill, Compulsory Evacuation Device, anything that doesn't target as well, as you said, Dimensional Prison, because that's not going to be nice to run into.
Yeah. So it's not that often that we're going to see something like, "Fool, you activated my trap card."
Yeah.
It's more going to be something like, "Oh, this is what I have. Deal with it."
I believe there's also a trap stun in there. And generally, they don't run traps as much because a lot of the stuff that you're doing is just going to make your guy completely indestructible. I mean, the whole idea of the deck is to get out Artorigus, either Sacred Noble Knight or Noble Knight, from the extra deck. Now that when it comes out, it equips spell cards from your graveyard to the card, meaning that you're essentially setting yourself up with an invincible monster, a bit like you do with Yangzing.
Yep.
There's a rank 4 version and a rank 5 version. The rank 4 version destroys as many cards, spell trap cards that are on the field as you have equipped Noble Arms cards. The other one, the rank 5, is detached to destroy a monster.
All right. He's also running one card that you seem to like quite a bit, which is Merlin.
Merlin is completely ridiculous. Basically, you tribute it to be able to get a Noble Arms. Let me just get the exact text here.
So in the meantime, we got Niels' hand, but he's not going first. It's rather Luca, who sets up a reinforcement of the army. One of the cards that allow him, that give him access to all of those Noble Knights, because those are, of course, warriors.
Yeah.
And
I believe that is a Bedouin. The Bedouin?
Yep.
For people that don't really know, the Noble Knights are all based off Arthurian legend, but for some reason, all of them are named after the Welsh names for every single Noble Knight. So that's why we've got Arfudita.
How easy is it? Do guys from the UK know these legends?
Yes. Everybody knows Arthurian legend. It's King Arthur, the Sword in the Stone, the Lady of the Lake.
But like when somebody tells you, "Oh, tell me something about Bedouin," are they going to be like, "Yeah, I know that guy"?
Bedouin is the guy that returned Excalibur to the Lady of the Lake. It's the last chapter of the Noble Knights, which is why there's also a card called the last chapter of the Noble Knights,
which we see in Luca's hand here. Yes.
Completely. Again, I'm going to keep saying a ridiculous card. Now, for some reason, that's showing us a Noble Knight Artorigus rather than the last chapter of the Noble Knights. Last chapter of the Noble Knights is essentially Monster Reborn for a Noble Knights monster and a Noble Knights equip card. We're just deciding on something there. Not too sure what. Oh, he was just reading Vidir.
Yeah, with these Italian cards, slightly confusing.
Okay, that's the Noble Knight brothers.
So that's focus on the field. They can bring out a second copy. Another Noble Knight, I mean.
There you go. It allows you to special summon 2 other Noble Knights from your hand there. Now, he's getting a search. Putting Caliburn into the graveyard. That's through Badir, who acts as a foolish burial for Noble Arms equipped spell cards.
So suddenly the Noble Knight player is applying a lot of pressure here.
Yes.
Something that we haven't seen before. This reminds you a little bit of Burning Abyss with all those special summons during the very first turn. But Niels did not have the Max C in the side deck. So bad news for him here. And the last 2 cards in Luca's hand is the last chapter. You heard it. Then Monster Reborn for the Noble Knights and the Mystical Space Typhoon. So I would expect him to set Mystical Space Typhoon and then pass play. Or is there something coming as well?
Possibly something coming there. Yeah, he's just checking Badir's effect there. Okay, Badir, one of the brand new cards coming out of the Noble Knights box.
Yeah, this is one of the coolest things about this deck. It still receives more support until it's going to be a real and viable contender. But would you say it's already there?
Yes. Yes, of course I would.
Straight.
It's incredibly good. It's just
Is
nobody's found the right balance of the build
I was
yet.
about to ask that question, yeah. Is it that people haven't quite figured out how to make the most of the Noble Knights?
For example, there is actually a Noble Arms monster card that when it goes to the graveyard, it can be equipped to one of the Noble Knights. The general play with that is to use it with Boars. When Boars is equipped with a Noble Arms card, you pick 3 Noble Arms cards from your deck,
Right.
shuffle them, and then one of them is then picked at random. That one goes to your hand and the other 2 go to the graveyard. The idea of that, of course, is then that you've got 2 Noble Knights out ready to be able to XC summon. And then all of the ones that you send to the graveyard will equip automatically. Now, if you're sending a Guinevere to the graveyard, then you've got essentially 4 coming out from there. Because as I was saying earlier, just before the Dreisten play happened, one of the main plays for Noble Knights is to have a Madraut in hand, play Madraut with any of the Noble Arms cards that will re-equip from the graveyard. When you equip Madraut, it becomes an effect monster that allows you to special summon one of the other Noble Knights from your deck, but then destroys the equip card that it's equipped with.
In case you're wondering what's happening at the moment, there was a judge call, so the guys have been asking the judge, what does this card do exactly? And
I believe they're just getting a translation.
yeah, they are now getting a translation for this card because, again, the card is in Italian. We, of course, got all the card text here, so in case you were wondering what all of these cards are doing, we got all the text here, and maybe you can even read them on the right-hand side of the screen. Though I gotta admit, it's kind of hard when there's a few lines of...
So much writing on there.
Yeah, so much going on with these Noble Knight cards.
Now, as I was saying before, after you've used Madraut's effect to go and fetch Boars from your deck, it destroys the Noble Arms card that's equipped with it. So you then equip that Noble Arms card from the graveyard using its effect to Boars. Boars' effect then allows you to bring 3 of your Noble Arms cards from the deck, pick one at random, equip that to Madraut, then you can XC summon straight into your rank 5.
Right. In the meantime, we might actually be able to put up something for you guys. We have both the metagame breakdown of the event as well as the standings after the last round. So let's check out if we can put one of these up for you. You can see that the bottom part of the screen is missing, so that's a good indication. Now the question is, there we have it.
Well, I've been proven wrong.
Shadol is the most popular deck of the weekend.
Burning Abyss is up there with 23%.
Exactly. But you see we got 2 very distinct builds of Shadol, with both Shadol Chaos on the one hand and Shadol Artifact on the other. Together they make up 1/3 of the field, 34%. Whereas Burning Abyss, close pursuit, 1/4 of the field. And then we got Clifford, which is the least popular out of these 3 decks, and not that much behind, I guess, is Satellar Knight with 113 players going with that deck. And then already Noble Knights.
49 Noble Knights.
But Yang Xing, still not the big thing, is it?
It's still trailing behind.
All right, let's go back to the table, because we do have the translation of the card that we were looking for, or the guys do have the translation of the card.
And here comes out Noble Knight Autargus, which uses its effect to equip Caliburn, giving it 500 extra attack and allowing him to gain 500 extra life points.
So
interesting play for a first turn. Unless he does have a follow-up. What does he have in his hand there?
He does have the Mystical Space Typhoon in the last chapter. So he sets the Space Typhoon and passes play. Yeah, this is all still happening in the very first turn. So much happening, you almost forget that it's still the first turn. So Niels did draw into his 6th card, which is a Deneb. Very good news for him.
Mystical Space Typhoon hitting Mystical Space Typhoon.
Yep, something that we have seen quite a few times. And
it's always funny when it happens.
Looks like a great opening hand, really, with the Stellar Nova Alpha and the Deneb that allows him to search and go for his combos. He just needs to find a way to get rid of the Artorigus, the king of the Noble Knights.
That is currently sat on 2,500 attack.
And you can also detach a material and destroy a number of spell trap cards on the field.
So it will be able.
He cannot do it the second time.
It's just going to get destroyed again, yes.
Yep. So this is the one card. It's a compulsory evacuation device that Luca drew into. So he can get rid of one of the 2 Exceed monsters, but then there's still the other one. Right, it means he does get to buy himself, probably he's going to buy himself another turn.
Yep.
With 1 attack ending in the Noble Knight Brothers.
Yeah, there it goes in the end phase. So
but yeah, that
is essentially the game.
That translates to game, yeah.
Yeah, basically what's going to happen here is the Deltaros can attack straight over those Noble Knight Brothers and then just attack straight directly.
Yeah, so that should be it. We have seen the funniest things today. And
there we go.
Both players are in agreement here, unlike earlier. And Niels won that match, and he's just, you can tell while he's happy that he won, he's still like, what was that?